Wow, I didn't know that corals are actually animals. Look at all the types of corals we have in here. Due to human impact, corals in nature have become more susceptible to stress, which leads to disease.
Any derivation from what's normal in a coral. So the normal color, the normal shape, how the coral normally functions. We know that corals are slow-growing animals. They take many, many decades to grow. So if a disease hits that comes through in 1 or 2 weeks, we're losing something that took many, many years to grow. You can also see in the tank there are lots of fish, and you can see some urchins, some different kinds of invertebrates. So we know that coral reefs are home to many other kinds of animals. So if we lose the reefs to disease, we risk losing everything else that comes along.
Causes of coral disease are not always known. There are abiotic and biotic stressors that make coral more susceptible to disease.
On the islands, a major problem that affects coral is pollution. Streams flow into the ocean, creating runoff that deposit excessive amounts of land-based pollution and sediment. The sediment clouds the surface water, which reduces photosynthesis and leads to slower growth. The land-based pollution carries unnecessary nutrients, toxins, bacteria, and pesticides into the coral reef ecosystems.
Climate change is another abiotic factor that impacts the health of coral. When the ocean's temperature rises, the zooxanthellae leave the coral, leaving it with no way to obtain food. Increased carbon dioxide in the atmosphere leads to increased carbon dioxide levels in the ocean. This in turn leads to ocean acidification, weakening coral.
Coral disease is also caused by biotic factors, including overfishing, bacteria, and alien algae.
Intense grazing by fish controls algal biomass. However, overfishing of reef fish results in algae abundance.
The leather mudweed does very well because it basically changes the environment. It traps sediment that is floating around and changes a very nice sandy substrate into a very muddy and dark environment, therefore blocking out sunlight and also making it very hard for coral and other organisms to thrive there.
We hope to bring awareness of coral disease and stressors to local communities.
Whether you're a recreational ocean user, fisherman, researcher, or even a student, the Eyes on the Reef program teaches you to monitor and report coral disease, bleaching, large number of crown of thorns, and even invasive species.
Many invasive algae cleanup groups have taken action by starting to remove invasive algae from the ocean.
That by releasing these sea urchins in algae-infested areas, much of the algae is removed.
Mahalo and aloha!